All right, here we go. Step 4, the cube puzzle project. We're going to, now we've built some parts, so we're going to say this is one of my parts. It's going to be the pink part. And we got another part over here, and this is the green part. And you will obviously, you'll have 5 or 6 different parts once you've made them all. And make sure they're all saved into your folder, your cube project folder within your engineering folder within your ninth grade folder, unless you're not a ninth grader. Once you've got all your parts made, we're going to go ahead and we're going to assemble them together into the cube. So we're going to come up here to part, and we're going to say make an assembly, which is this guy right here, make assembly from part or assembly. So just say make assembly, and it's going to open up a new screen, and it looks just like this, and there's nothing here. Now sometimes if you're lucky, it's going to populate this little area right here with the most recent parts that you've made, and for me it's the pink part and the green part. Now they're not always going to be right there. So if you just hit browse, I can go look for them. And mine, I just saved them right on the desktop. So you can see I've got a green part right here, and I've got pink part right here. So I'm going to go ahead and open them that way. So I'm going to say open the green part. And it should bring, there's the green part. I just had to click on the screen once. I'm going to go here to insert components. And I'm going to go browse, although I could just click the pink right there. I'm going to go browse and find it on my desktop and bring in the pink part also. Now, if you want, you can do, this is a little trick that you'll probably use later in the year. This little pin right here allows this to stay open. So say I wanted a whole bunch of the pink parts, I could click on there, and I could come out here and I could click a bunch of different times and bring in a bunch of different pink parts. I don't really want that right now, so I'm going to go ahead and close that and say, please stop making pink parts. And then I'm going to go and, yes, delete all of my little pink parts so that they're gone, except for the one. Okay, now I've got 2 parts, and I want to get them together. I'm going to pretend like these 2 go together in my cube. Now I want to draw your attention to something on the left side of the screen here. Do you see this little F right here in the parentheses? That means fixed. And that means the first part I brought in here, which is the green part, I can't move it. If I click on it and I try to move it, I can't. I can grab the pink part and move it around because it's free to move. But the first part you bring into an assembly is always fixed by default. And I would like to be able to move it. It's not totally necessary, and I'd be fine actually not doing it. But if you want to be able to move it, you just go over here and right click, and you say float. And that little F disappears and now has a little line in there. Now I can move my green part around. It just makes it easier sometimes to manipulate it. Okay, now when we actually want to get these together, we're going to use what are called mates. And this says mate right here. So if I click on it, and the mate we're going to tell it what needs to be associated with what. And typically we're going to use what's called a coincident, which means they're together. Okay, so let's say I want to get this pink part. Actually, let's start easy. Let's say I want this edge of the pink part to be on the back edge of this green. I'm going to click in this blue area, and I'm going to tell this edge right here to be with this edge right here. Now they're together, and I'll hit the little green check and say, yep, that's what I wanted. And I'm going to tell this edge right here to be with this edge right here. And we'll hit the little green check. And now they are perfectly together. But what I realized, oh, that's not actually how I wanted it. That's not what I meant. So I'm going to go down here to these little coincident constraints I just made. I'm going to right click. I'm going to delete them and say, nope, that was my mistake. That's not actually how I wanted it. What I really wanted was this pink thing to fit right in the middle of this. So I'm gonna get out of mate real quick, and I can come over here to move component and hit the little arrow. Move component allows me to just grab something and move it. If I go to the arrow, I can go to rotate component. Then I can click on one of these components and I can actually rotate it around. I'm gonna say, oh, I actually want the pink one like that. All right, and I'll say okay. And I'm gonna go back to mate. Now you can mate edges like I just did, or you can mate faces. So I might say I want this face to be with this face, and that makes them coplanar, okay, which means we're on the same plane. And I'll say, yep, okay. And I also wanted this, maybe this face right here, mated to this face in there. And I'll say, okay. And the last one, I'm going to tell this face right here to be with this face right here. And okay. And now the pink one is perfectly situated right in the green one where I wanted it. Okay, you're going to go through that process, bringing in each of your parts using insert components and mating them together until your 3 by 3 by 3 cube is fully assembled. Then to get the grade check for this, you're going to open up a Google document. You're going to take a screenshot of this when it's fully assembled and place it on the front of your Google document with your name on it. So you will have a document with a screenshot of this. Now your best bet for taking a screenshot, I like Word. And Word the best thing you can do on here is what's called insert screenshot. And so I'm going to get a nice isometric view. Let's go back to SolidWorks real quick. And let's get a nice isometric view of this. Okay. And I'm going to go to Word, Insert, Screenshot, and Screen Clipping. When I click on that, it's going to gray out this page. And then I get to draw a box around this. And when I release the clicker, it then takes that snippet and puts it onto my Word document. Now I want you to use a Google Doc because you're going to actually link it onto my site. So every single one of you will have your cube linked to the site so we can see them all. But on that intro page of the Google Doc, you'll have a screenshot of your completed cube with your name right below it. So I'm a sample. She's really good at this project. And then you'll put the date and you'll put which class you're in, period 9. And put Mr. KD. Okay, and then when you've got that, call me over, and I'm going to show you how to link it onto my site, where to link it, and you'll get your grade check for the assembly.